Hey guys, okay, so this is another Lego build. This time we're just running it straight through with the microphone on my mobile phone. So that's going to be on a OnePlus 7 Pro, so this will be at 4K hopefully. Please excuse the slightly crappy lighting. I am still working on potential solutions for that. But today this will be part one, building a Lego 75301 X-Wing, so specifically Luke's X-Wing, and this will be separated into 4 sections, I think. So let's get started. Yeah, still having some potential issues with the recording systems. I have given up on the Sennheiser mic I was using. May have heard me talking about it earlier, but let's be honest, but basically it seems to have some kind of weird issue with video corruption, so I can't use it. But now we're just running it straight from the microphone on the phone itself, which seems to be fine. You can hear what I'm saying. It could just be a bit clearer. And I will be potentially looking at other lighting options at the moment. But at the moment, this is just an LED lamp, which is fine, but you do get a lot of glare with it. But we can work on that later. So this is, as you can see, make sure that's good. Yep, step one is section one is going to be the main cockpit. Then there's got the rear engine compartment, the wings, and then all the various greeblies. So let's start off with assembling ourselves a Mr. Skywalker. You can see the Lego for Star Wars, they've gone for what's now referred to as flesh tone. I do like the fact he's got 2 different expressions, which kind of means you have to wear him with the hat, because otherwise it does look a bit weird. But there we go. Really nice printing on these actually, and back and front, and it does seem to just, yeah, actually even down to the legs. And I'll just put together his lightsaber. So the lightsabers are just see-through plastic. It looks like Lego isn't really using the old light gathering plastic that they used to. They've just gone for basically just a see-through plastic, which is, I suspect, more out of just ease than anything else. We'll put together our little R2 unit. So there we go. Shame there's no foot to go with it, but I'm sure you could probably work something out with the Technic piece. But he is supposed to go into the back of the cockpit, so I think we could probably let them have that. So the Lego project is still going ahead. I did attempt to talk about it in one of the other videos, but that unfortunately didn't really work out. But just to explain, there is a large amount of unsorted, well, partially sorted Lego at home, which has been inherited from various parts of the family. And I will be, well, you've already seen you may have already seen some of the videos I've done so far, but the intention will be that eventually I will be donating a lot of it to a charity that does basically toy boxes for disadvantaged kids, because that's kind of where it came from initially. It was all got out of a dump back in the day, and for, well, disadvantaged kids in my family, so it feels better to donate it onwards rather than, I suppose, everyone in the family is now sufficiently well off that they can provide Lego for their kids. So I definitely feel better with it going on like that. It's mostly your standard 2x4 bricks, you know, your classic Lego, which isn't actually used that much in these kind of models. I mean, a lot of the time it's more like, I mean, yes, there is a well, that's the 2x4, but that's a 2x4 plate, but the actual proper chunky bricks. So essentially, sort of that equivalent of that, but as one brick, just aren't used as much anymore because I think Lego's just tried to do much more fine detail, which makes for nicer models. It definitely does, and it's better used to the scale, but yeah, well, it'll be fine. It's the kind of thing which will be great for kids who aren't sort of used to having Lego and that kind of thing, because it will give them something where they can make some nice big chunky models. And it's always and it is sufficiently generic that it will go with anything else. I mean, you can use it for making, well, whatever within reason. So that's the intention. And as I go through, I will be building more Lego. And I suppose I need to start thinking about where I'm going to put it all. So one thing I am likely to do is, and here's where I'm going to stumble over a Russian word, a Chotsky. Tchotchkes are basically marketing crap, but in nerd culture there's definitely a thing of people buying tchotchkes because they're, you know, interesting, and I suppose basically like, yeah, Funko Pop is basically makes their money out of selling tchotchkes to nerds, and that's kind of how it goes, which fine, but I've ended up with stuff like that from Loot Crate, and although my box of junk, I even used to refer to it as a box of crap, was good fun at the time, I think I'm probably ready to just get rid of it. I think that's not a bad idea, because the Legos, the Lego stuff is something where I've got some flexibility over it, and if I ever get massively bored with it, I can always just strip it down. But it's just got more to it, I suppose. The Star Wars stuff is still Star Wars branded, yes, but I do also actually quite like the more sort of generic city stuff, just because it's kind of fun. It's nice to have a model like that. It's not massively outlandish, and it's always good fun. But yeah, we'll see. I think a lot of the junk that I got from Loot Crate is just going to quietly go, and that'll be that. So, make sure that everything's in frame is okay. So, that's how they're getting the point of the X-Wing's nose. That's not a bad way to do it, actually. So, because that kind of compound curve just isn't gonna. I'm not quite sure if we're gonna keep that more stable, but that isn't really gonna work any other way. I mean, I suppose you could have. That's how you'll tie it together. So, anyway, let's put him down there. Put these together. But yeah, I'll have to have a rearrange, which is worth doing every so often anyway. And you know, I may eventually go as far as something like a display cabinet, but we'll see. It's not decided yet, and some of the Lego bits I'm going to have to think what the hell to do with these. There is a big 90s piece which I will need to. I'm going to make doubly sure I can actually build it before I reveal it, but will be a lot of fun if I can actually get it up and running. But I also need to think about how to put it, because it is basically, yeah, beyond a certain point, something like the playsets were always an odd thing, because it's like, where the hell do you put them? Right, and then so it pops in there. Okay, fine, I'll give him that. And then, yeah, I mean, this is, because I remember having playsets. I remember having this is, weirdly, this is me showing a very specific age. I had the Matchbox Tracy Island back when I was a kid, which I was very happy with. Apologies, I've just cocked that one up. I was very happy with. I think I tried to make the papier-mâché thing. So it's one of those sort of like classic 90s TV moments, which, you know, Anthea Turner, when she was on Blue Peter, teaching you how to make your own Tracy Island, which Well, I suppose which I've never quite understood how they got away with. I don't know how they got away with it, but I'm not quite sure how the BBC got the clearance to do that, because surely, I mean, it was a ITC production, and yes, they had the rights to it, and yes, it makes perfect sense for them to go, how are we going to do that? But then I could just see Matchbox going, no, you're not going to teach kids how to make a knockoff version of the same model. But I suppose we lived in more innocent times then. It's the kind of thing now where I can see, like, imagine this was like Marvel or something, and they said make your own Iron Man. No, like, they let cosplayers be because cosplayers are basically advertising. But I can totally see them just turning around and going, you are not going to teach kids how to make whatever. But I suppose that's the difference between a good old British company like ITC or... I don't know who owns the rights now, because I don't know if they still exist, because, well, old Lou Reed's dead. Lou Reed. God, there was an old... Yeah, I forget his name now. There was this old... there was a... British TV mogul. He did a whole load of things. He was very much your wheeler dealer guy, which you needed at the time, and like he's the reason that the Muppets exist, for example. But anyway, he was part of the reason that the Thunderbirds existed, but also part of the reason that it never got any further than that one season. It was only ever one season and a film, which still feels weird that that's all it ever was, but that's all you got. The story I heard was they were going to sell it to the Americans. They went over and he tried to trigger a bidding war between the American networks, and they basically found out he was doing this and told him where to shove it, and that was it. No more Thunderbirds. He just killed it because, well, that was the end of that. Can't sell it to the Americans. We're just going to can it. I can only imagine how furious old Jerry Anderson was at the time, but that was that. And then we had Captain Scarlet, and we had various other things, and didn't see much more of... Well, there was the Thunderbirds movie. Thunderbirds 6, I think it was. I think so. Which, I get the feeling was actually some... Yeah, I can't remember the exact details because I never actually saw it, but yeah, and I think that was really the last we ever really saw of that until the 90s for some reason. I still not quite sure how, but I suppose it's almost like they did with Star Wars. They went, oh hey, let's just resurrect this old thing, and of course kids my age were like, great. You got the little puppets, you got the explosions, it's fantastic, and they had all kinds of weird stuff to go with it. Shout out to anyone who actually got the chance to see the Thunderbirds play. There was actually, oh my god, it was just... A more innocent time is a phrase that gets rolled around, but my lord, was this a more innocent time. What they'd done was they had the guys in the outfits, which are, you know, all very 60s, but I can totally see some military actually having them, the little jumpsuits with the hats and everything. But yeah, what they did, and to actually have the ships, they just stuck hats on. And I seriously Google it, Thunderbirds play, and you're looking at it and go, what the hell is this? They literally just had little models with a hole in it to put your head through. It was basically a hat. And they would just flounce around stage with these things, and you're sitting, and I could just see some of you just going, what the... One of two responses. Either be, oh, I remember that, or what the bloody hell are you talking about? And both are entirely valid responses, but this was, you know, children's theatre. I mean, I don't know, children go to the theatre as much these days, but it's, that's the kind of, I mean... That's straight enough, I don't care. I mean, just think of like something like Warhorse. I mean, that's got a wonkiness to it, but this was like low-tech wonky, whereas Warhorse is relatively high-tech wonky. I don't know if that even makes sense, the concept of high-tech wonky, but you look at the Warhorse and you go, oh my god, this is an amazing piece of animatronics, and it's like the puppetry involved, and it's, oh, yeah, and then... And then you see some guys wearing basically hats, slandering around stage. It's not a word. Well, it is a word, but it's not a appropriate one. Sort of like sliding around stage wearing these things. You think, what the bloody hell? But yeah, I suppose as a kid you kind of, I think I wanted to go. I think I was interested, though I don't remember. Though I'm sure I was the kind of pretentious little shit who wouldn't have, who wouldn't suspend his disbelief to that level. It's like, nah, well, you know, they're wearing hats. It's not real, much as, yeah. But yeah, it became a '90s thing, and then it went again for some reason. You know, and they gave it a decent life. They staged it out. You had Thunderbirds, then you had Captain Scarlet, and they went through Joe 90 and stuff. And I do remember, yeah, they actually did to a degree, like, give it. Yeah, it's kind of weird. The best way I could describe it is they gave it a full life cycle, like the Jerry Anderson material, if that makes any sense. But yeah, all very strange. But oh, just one thing. I was saying got the decals, which I the stickers I much prefer these to be printed on, but that's just how it is. But they did print on for the cockpit, which I'm assuming is a custom thing specifically for the X-Wing, because, well, it's so well suited to the shape of the body. It's the same with the TIE Fighters. The TIE Fighters have a similar kind where they've got the porthole thing at the front, which you could blatantly use for things like submarines and things, but which is probably where the Greeblies came from originally. Greeblies are like gubbins. It's the little knobbly bits. But yeah, they didn't. But okay, so now I'm reckoning that what we'll do going forward, and this will be in video number 2, which I probably should start doing immediately after this, but magic of YouTube. So I suspect that that's how he'll sit in. So he'll sit in like that. And here's a little seat. And then, you know what, let's just put him in there. I don't think he's going to get in the way, and that means I won't lose him. And I think R2 sits there, just with those little pods, and then they'll build the model around it. Anyway, so we're at stage 2. And there's always a slight paranoia when you build a Lego model of you do get some spares and you go, should I have spares? And that's what I would expect to have from just eyeballing from a Lego model. But anyway, hope you guys had fun, and I'm hoping that this has come out, works, and can be uploaded relatively easily. But please like and subscribe, etc., etc. I need to get some fake sponsors. But there we go. This video was sponsored by the concept of glare, which I'm not entirely sure where it's going from. I'm pretty sure it's that lamp, but I end up with a second glare spot. I don't know why. So everyone, glare. See you guys in a bit.